Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Now I want to explain about methods in TEFL. Chapter 2. Krashen and Terrell 1983 mentioned four general orientations among modern second language methods and approaches. Structural linguistic, learning about the language in order to learn the language. Cognitive focus is on the learning strategies that are compatible with the learner's own style. Second language content is selected competence leading to performance. Affective or interpersonal emphasizes interaction among and between teacher and students and the atmosphere of the learning situation, as well as students' motivation for learning, based on concepts adapted from counseling and social psychology. Functional or communicative, based on theories of language acquisition, often referred to as the natural approach, and on the use of language for communication. Instruction is concerned with the input students receive, comprehension of the message of language, and student involvement at the student's level of competence. Methods in TEFL, there are nine. There are 9 methods. Those are the grammar translation approach, the reading approach, the audiolingual method, community language learning, the silent way, the communicative approach, functional notional approach, total cycle response, the natural approach. And I want to explain one by one. Let's check it out. The first, the grammar translation approach, a method of teaching foreign language derived from the classical method of teaching Greek and Latin. In grammar translation classes, students learn grammatical rules and then apply those rules by translating sentences between the target language and the native language. And the second, the reading approach. This approach is selected for practical and academic reasons. A reading approach is a way to start teaching beginning readers, teaching meaning, whole words, and parts of words from the very beginning. The approaches overlap with some common elements appearing in all of them. The third, the audiolingual method. The method consists of teaching a new language through reading a dialogue or text and carrying out drills associated with it. According to this method learning, a language consists of getting to know its grammar and practicing its rules through different types of drills until habits in the new language are formed and speech becomes spontaneous. Through listening, imitating, and performing control tasks, students acquire a new form of verbal behavior. And the fourth, community language learning. This methodology created by Charles Curran is not based on these usual methods by which language are taught. Community language learning is a language teaching approach in which students work together to develop what aspect of language they would like to learn. It is based on the counseling approach in which the teacher acts as a counselor and paraphraser, while the learner is seen as a client and collaborator. The silent way, that's the fifth, to create simple linguistic situations that remain under the complete control of the teacher. To let the teacher concentrate on what the students say and how they are saying it, drawing their attention to the differences in pronunciation and the flow of words. And to generate a serious game-like situation in which the rules are implicitly agreed upon by giving meaning to the gestures of the teacher and his mind. The sixth, the communicative approach. Communicative competence is the progressive acquisition of the ability to use a language to achieve one's communicative purpose. Communicative competence involves the negotiations of meaning between two or more persons sharing the same symbolic system. Communicative competence applies to both spoken and written language. That's communicative between learner to teacher, communicative between learner to learner, and etc. And the seventh, functional notional approach. This method is created by Finocchiaro, Brumfield, 1983. This method of language teaching is categorized along with others under the rubric of a communicative approach. So that is the related of a communicative approach. Notions are meaning elements that may be expressed through noun, pronouns, verbs, prepositions, conjunctions, adjective or adverbs. The use of particular notions depends on three major factors. The functions, B, the elements in the situation, and the C, the topic being discussed. The eighth, total cycle response. James G. Asher, 1979, defines the total physical response (TPR) method as one that combines information and skills through the use of the kinesthetic sensory system. This combination of skills allows the students to assimilate information and skills at rapid rate. It's very fast. As a result, this success leads to high degree of motivation. Understanding the spoken language before developing the skills of speaking. The student is not forced to speak, but is allowed an individual readiness period, allowed to spontaneously begin to speak when the student feels comfortable and confident in understanding and producing the utterances. And the last, the natural approach is a language teaching approach which claims that language learning is reproduction of the way humans naturally acquire their native language. The natural approach to second language teaching is based on the following hypotheses. So some of the hypotheses below, the acquisition learning distinction hypothesis, the natural order of acquisition hypothesis, the monitor hypothesis, the input hypothesis, the effective hypothesis, the filter hypothesis, the aptitude hypothesis, the first language hypothesis, the textuality hypothesis, the expectancy hypothesis. So I think most of the definitions of the hypothesis there is in handbook. So please let's go reading. So this is the last slide. Thank you. And if you want to make it sure what the handbook said, just watching this video, and then you can read also the handbook. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.